Do it. Before I get into my opinion on gun control, I'm going to give you a brief history on gun control in the U.S. The first form of gun control came in the form of black codes in 1865. Black codes were made to limit the rights of African Americans in the South after the Civil War. From our nation's birth in 1776 to the end of the 1800s, gun control wasn't a main issue on America's agenda. However, if there was a legislator that tried to pass legislation against guns or form any form of gun control, the biggest opposition to it was the NRA. The NRA, or the National Rifle Association, formed in 1871 with the main purpose of training marksmanship of the U.S. citizen prepping for war. Like I said before, gun control wasn't a big issue on America's agenda. However, in 1938 we had the first form of actions against guns, where you had to register if you wanted to sell guns. And the first ban on ownership of guns came in the form of, if you were a criminal that committed a felony in the U.S., you were not allowed to own guns. The first form of gun laws that was against the law-abiding citizen of the U.S. came in 1977. This law stated that the ownership of handguns was illegal in Washington, D.C., and all owners of shotguns and rifles within the D.C. area had to be registered. The first assault on the ownership of semi-automatic weapons happened in California in 1989. This law banned the ownership of semi-automatic weapons in California after a massacre in Stockholm, California of 5 children at a park. Now that you've gotten a brief history of gun control in the U.S., I'm going to give you my opinion on gun control as a whole in the United States. My opinion on gun control in a whole is that it's not a bad idea, however, it doesn't work. For my first argument against gun control, I believe gun control leaves the lawful citizen vulnerable and defenseless. An example of a lawful citizen being defenseless because of gun control is Sandy Hook. We all know about Sandy Hook and the atrocities committed there. However, did you know that Sandy Hook was a gun-free zone, and some of the teachers at Sandy Hook were registered gun owners, however were not allowed to take their weapons to work because of the school's policy of a gun-free zone. That did not stop the bad man who came into the school and shot up all those children and a teacher. For the second part of my argument, I believe that gun control in the U.S. does not work. When a ban or limitation is passed against the ownership of any form of weapon, it only harms the lawful citizen. The lawful citizen is left defenseless against the criminal who will not obey these gun laws. To clarify the second half of my argument, let me ask you a question. When has gun control ever worked for its intended purpose? Chicago has some of the strictest gun laws in place in any city in the U.S., due to the fact that it has the highest gun-related crime rate in the U.S. compared to any other U.S. city. You think with all this gun control in place, you'd think that the gun-related crime would drop at least. As a matter of fact, it doesn't. In 2012 to 2013, the gun-related crime rate increased in Chicago. To wrap up my argument against gun control, I believe that gun control does not work with its intended purpose of protecting the people of the U.S. It only leaves the people of the U.S. defenseless against crime.
So, for my final thoughts on gun control, I believe gun control doesn't work. Whether you're the friendliest state towards guns like Arizona, where we still had that shooting in Tucson, or in one of the more stricter states like Colorado, where a student came to school, shot a 17-year-old girl, and was going after his teacher and unfortunately didn't succeed. Or Chicago, that has the strictest gun laws in the nation and still has the highest gun-related crime rate in America. That just proves that no matter what gun laws you put in place, if you have none or you have a crap ton, you're still going to have people getting their hands on guns and doing violent acts and stupid things. So just remember, guns don't kill people, people kill people.